Um, I'm a musician. My name is Karen. I've never ever done this before. This is awesome. Looks like my Apple TV remote. First time ever using one today. As a musician traveling South Africa, I've played on street corners by the restaurant where Frank was begging for the money. I've played for the presidents. I've played for drunk people. I've even played in churches. And I've discovered something that I would like to share with you today. You might have heard of a man called Maslow. Ek het in Afrikaans geskryf, ek het Stellenbosch toe gekom, weet jy dat issues maak, nie gewees so. I have more than 26 friends. So Maslow's got this hierarchy of needs, right? It is ook in Engels. For the Engelssprekenders, English and Afrikaans, just like pre-1994, once again, nothing. I love cockroaches, I love ants, and I just wanted to be cool like Simon Fremantle with all these graphs and stuff. I only have 3 of these things, Simon. Okay, so Maslow tells us, okay, there's this pyramid. Hy het gehou daarvan om met blokkies te speel, 2 klein was as 'n piramide. Ons grootste behoefte, our biggest need, physiological, we need to eat, breathe, drink water. Then, second most important is we need our safety, ADT, all that stuff. A stun gun, knuckle duster, pepper spray. Then we need our social, need of love and belonging, after which our self-esteem will follow that. And then at the end, if we're lucky, we self-actualize. I don't know if it really happens, but we're all trying. And dying at what? 56, apparently, Simon. So anyway, this is the Maslow hierarchy, musical hierarchy, kind of my own thing. I would like to explain. Anybody here like music? Cool. Yeah, you're going to dig the rest of the whole thing that's happening now. Okay, this is the hierarchy. Okay, it goes like this. At the top, we have the classical musician. She starts playing the French horn at age 4, practices every single day of her life. She's a genius. She plays in an orchestra. She can sight read music, which means you give her a piece of paper and she can go da-da-da-da in perfect tune. After which we get the jazz musicians, the second, this is B-span, the jazz musicians. They are also brilliant, but their thing is improvisation. Okay, they can read, just like the classical musician, but they might not pull Rachmaninoff off in the same way if they get the sheet music in front of the classical musicians. Improvise, they're like little Albert Einsteins. When they play music, patterns appear, like the Matrix before them, of all the different options of where they could go. They play their instruments like this because they try and look cool, because being a nerd is cool, just like at TED Talks. Hey, nerds. They play like this, and they're in their own world. They're crazy, and they don't have lots of friends. That's why they perform in a bar or at church in their own world. Then we get the musos, people like me. We can read a little bit, we can improvise a little bit, but for us, music is not about being the best. It's about having the most possible fun. That's the key to our life. We have bands, and we usually start out in bars. Some of us stay there forever. Below us, I've written singers. When I speak to my Afrikaans friends, ons praat van die kunstenaars. Hierso. You may or may not know the Afrikaans singers that refer to themselves as artists, but they're actually just people who sing with backtracks. These people do not care about instruments even, never mind playing them or becoming the best musician possible. They just want to sing. They need a CD or they need an MP3 going in the background and they sing to it. They don't have a need to express any feelings as the red people, we like to share what we feel and try and create a good time. They will take the good time we've created, make a cheap backtrack and sing it outside the shop right in Boksburg. So there we have it. Classical musicians, A-span, B-span, musicians, C-span. Then we have the reserves, the singers. But wait, there's more. At the very bottom, we've got the wannabes. These people press play. They take all of that, put it onto a computer, press play, and make the volume go up and down. They will classify themselves as musicians when you see them in the street, even though we all laugh at them behind their backs. Unfortunately, the Bible's got a line that says, die wat laaste is, sal eerste wees. I don't know, those who came last will be first. When we look at the finances, Standard Bank, notice, at the very top, 2013, biggest selling artist, David Guetta in Ibiza, with his little finger and his computer. Then we have Good Darren. Then we have Karen Zoid. Then we have Paul Hamner. Don't pretend to know who Paul Hamner is, even though he's won about 4 different samas. And at the end, we've got the little flat where she sits with her cat on her lap, thinking about the 8,000 rand she makes a month, playing in the National Orchestra, without a boyfriend, without anything, the classical musician. This is how life is, isn't it? It's a little bit unfair for her, but it's great for me because I'm in the middle. And that's what I want to share with you guys today, is about being in the middle. Being in the middle has always had a negative connotation, yeah? The middle child, middelkind syndrome, middle of the road, middle class, you know. We get cucked out every day for being middle class. It's okay. It's actually awesome because we build the bridge. Because if you don't fit in anywhere, you fit in everywhere. So the musician in the middle gets to play with Corlea Botha, gets to be introduced by the DJ with a Dagablaar t-shirt, but also gets to work with the symphony orchestra, also gets to write and arrange with jazz musicians. So being in the middle ain't all that bad. Now I've got a picture of the prophet Bob Marley. You might have heard of him. I'm sorry, just taking out my laptop, dude. I'll play you a song, yeah. This guy brought out an album in 1977. It was called Exodus. Reggae music wasn't very popular in 1977 at all. It was actually fairly unknown. This oak brought out an album called Exodus, which also I quite like. It's kind of profound that the meaning of it is leaving a certain area, leaving your little safe space to go somewhere else. And this was the first reggae album that ever made it onto the charts. He was on the actual British charts for, I think, 56 weeks. I didn't write it down, sorry. But the amazing thing about the album was that the first half of the album revolved around religion and politics. Second part of the album about themes of change. Ek begin om nou so fucking nervous te raak, ek praat so. Yeah. Themes of change, religious politics, and sex. And he got critical and commercial success. And in 1984, they brought out a compilation. Listen up, DJ man, listen up to this. It's a song that might work for you because the album Legend, the compilation album, stayed on the Billboard Pop Catalog album chart for 992 consecutive weeks. How many weeks do we have in a year?
52-ish.
Okay, it's still okay. As long as you know that, I'm okay with your cause. Okay, 52 weeks. So this act stayed on the charts for 992 consecutive weeks. The album in 1984 sold 14 million copies in the US. And today it stands at 25 million copies been sold. Why, oh why, did it work? Why did a little reggae album by Bob Marley work? Because he incorporated jazz, he incorporated rock, he made friends, as Tats said, with various styles of music, and it translated to everybody, and everybody got it. And that's every musician's dream, is to write a hit song, to have a hit album that everybody listens to. I don't care how hipster you are. When the hit comes, Beatenberg, we're going to be so down with it. We're going to be touring with Mumford and Sons all over the world. That's what we want, guys. So, my little story I came to tell you, I was assuming that most of you would be students. Some of you a bit more mature. I don't know, it might be the beards. There are lots of them in Stellenbosch still. Is to know yourself. Bob Marley had a success with Exodus because he didn't do it for the money. He didn't do it to try and make a point. And we were having lots of chats today about doing something, and it's great, and caring, and really caring. And that is, I think, the story of South Africa at the moment. I mean, everybody knows that they need to do something, but if you do something for any other reason than that you really care, that you really believe in it, it's who you are, it doesn't work. I have sung at I won't say the name of the organization, but there's a charity organization that did shows in the Sun City Super Bowl for many, many years. They had Donatella Versace. We sang with Flip and Seal, and ek weet nie wie almal was daar nie, and people paid 5,000 rand a head. And then, you know, the food was prepared by award-winning chefs. You know, and it's like millions and millions of rands, but every year we go back. Tapalogo uitsaspis. Sit die kind nog steeds met die koppie ouras en die vlieg in die oog. Same thing, different year. So, what I want to say to you, young people out here, is while you're at university, while you're studying and going about your business, find yourself, know yourself, and be yourself. And only then will you learn to give something to the world and not just take from it. Baie dankie.